Hi guys, this is Jerri.
And I'm Lauren.
And we're 2 drinks in.
Okay, so today we are, first of all, let's circle back. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Thank you so much for being with us last year. We did a lot last year, to be honest.
Too much. We're still recovering.
Yes, and we're literally going to talk about that in this podcast. But before we get there, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed, who has smashed that like button, who has clicked subscribe, who has clicked on that notification bell.
And who's commenting.
Who's
Please
commenting.
Don't forget to comment, guys.
We love you. Can you tell we're 2 drinks in? We love you. Thank you so much for all your support. And we look forward to, being with you throughout the 2022. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to talk about a few things. For sure, we're going to talk about our New Year's resolutions. So I think this is a good jumping off point. So Jerri, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Honestly, to make more money.
Girl, love it.
But I think that's all of us this year.
Mm-hmm.
To not catch COVID. Because working where we work right now is a little scary.
Anything else?
Find a way to not be as burnt out. It could just be that our last month was really hectic. Because we moved back home. I did not know that moving was so expensive.
Yeah, boy.
And I'm tired of adulting.
Me too.
We had one not so much a health scare, but we had to go to the doctor because of something I did, because of my eye.
Yes.
And after, when we got the bill, I immediately looked at Amber and was like, I think that we need to, as soon as, we have all of our paperwork in order, make sure that we have a proper health insurance plan.
I agree. I was literally just speaking to somebody about health insurance, and I feel like that is the ultimate goal.
Do you have health insurance?
I do not.
I was like, how?
I do not.
Because we both wear glasses.
Yep.
Even though y'all never see me in mine.
Yeah.
I only ever use them in any house, to be honest. But
big up to Quartz Optical. I love you. Sunset Crest. Massey. But I definitely think health insurance is one of those things that we kind of take for granted in our youth.
Yeah. And then when we need health insurance, it's like,
Exactly. And that's literally one of the things. I was having this conversation with Mistral just the other day about how I seriously wanted to look into getting health insurance moving forward. And yes, I know we are fortunate enough to get free healthcare.
Yeah.
And we do have external help that a lot of other people in the world don't have. But I also feel like it's important so that we are doing the things that we need to do. Even in terms of the checks that we have to get as women. I would have recently had my first pap smear, right? Which is crazy because, guys,
having ovaries is very expensive.
Exactly. And what happens when 5 years down the line when you want to have children?
Yep.
Or when you need to get those checks and when you are doing all the things that you need to do. I really do think health insurance is just as important, if not more important, than things like car insurance and things like that. But we all have car insurance because we gotta have it. Yes, don't gotta have health insurance. But I definitely think it's one of those things.
It's something that we need. I feel like we all need it.
Definitely. Sagicor, if you were looking, we are,
we're open to all these sponsorships.
All of it. In terms of me and my resolutions, this is a very interesting one for me because I'm definitely resolutions girl. And I'm resolutions girl, all of them. To about March, April, where it's be just fuck it. Hands up in the air. Oh my gosh, why is life so hard? But for this year, I want to working on my goals, on my resolutions. Literally, one of the conversations I was having with just Amory himself is how I have all these big lofty ideas. I'm literally go big or go home girl.
That's both of us, to be honest.
But to
roll crazy,
right? But the planning of the ideas, the sitting and the writing it out, and like, I mean, I was also making a joke that when my mommy hear this episode, she could be like, "Oh, Lauren," you know, because she's also one of those people who are always like, "Lauren, you need to stop, and you need to plan out your months and your days and stuff like that." And I think that for me, other than lose the 10 pounds I gain on Christmas, is is my other New Year's resolutions. I literally want to take the time to plan my activities, to decide what my goals are, like what are the things we want to work on, personally, financially, as the business, the events that we want to do, and literally sit down and make a plan of how to get there. So that's it for me. That's what my resolutions are.
I think it should be the same for both of us, to be honest.
But well, I definitely think that's something we both need to do in terms of planning events, because, well, y'all will all know we are event planners at this point. So 12 days of
that's Lauren.
12 days of Christmas was a success. We want to thank you for everybody who came,
and thanks for all the artists.
We had Studio A&A. We had Emerald Studios. We had Shan Swim, big up to Shan Swim. We had Craig Yearwood with his stuff collection. We had Jerry Vieira, and we had Element L. And we also had Island Pets, who was one of our participants who gave a giveaway to one of our lucky winners. So look out for the pictures. As we said, we were doing it big, so everybody got a little mini photo shoot with us as we delivered the gifts. Everybody look fly is selling their gifts. So look out for those pictures coming up soon on our socials. But yeah, we really want to thank everybody, as I said just now, who participated in the competition, who came to our pop-ups, who continues to
support us in any way,
in all the ways that you support us, even if it's just sharing our page. Like when you see something that you like and you share it, we appreciate you. Also, like, I'm not sure if you can cut this bit out, but big up the second Encore on the way. The dress. If you have not been,
so many things from.
Listen. Amazing store, amazing people in the store. Literally, like I went with a friend today, and I was literally telling her that one of the things I love about them is they legitimately tell you that you look good in this, or
and they don't get this one.
Yeah. Like I had a dress that was a little bit tight on me, and she literally was like, it's just a little bit tight, you know. And I was telling her, well, yeah, I know it's tight, but I plan to lose 10 pounds in the new year. So I can still buy it anyway, because other than right around the hips, it was like perfect. But they give you like really good advice in terms of what you're wearing and what to wear and what looks good. Like this dress.
And would they pull for you as well?
This dress was pulled for me. Like I kept picking it up and it didn't look as good on the hanger, but I kept looking at it because it's really unique.
I love it.
And she was like, you know what, you should actually just try this on. This will look great on you. And I think it would fit you perfectly. And she told me that she had somebody try it on that it was too small for her. So she thought I should put it on. And it was amazing. I was like, yep, I'm just buying it. I didn't even ask the price. I was like, I'm buying it.
Whenever I need work clothes, I also take every single one of my female friends in there.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Amory was the one that took me in there the first time.
Me too. Amory was definitely the one that took me in there for the first time too.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I feel like we've saved a lot of dollars on clothes, and it's mostly sustainable.
Yeah, it's very sustainable, and they're usually, the quality is top notch.
Unmatched. My lambskin jacket that I love so much, and I wear almost every day. Just from in there.
Looking fly as hell. Anyways, back to what we were saying. Jumping back into the conversation about resolutions, I find one of the things that, and maybe all of us, you know, it's a meme that goes wrong a lot, but me in particular, how do we actually set realistic resolutions and follow through with them? So not just saying, oh, well, I can lose 50 pounds this year, which was my resolution last year. But how do we set realistic resolutions and, by extension, realistic goals, and not just let them be frivolous things that we're pulling out from the sky, like picking apples from the air?
Are they frivolous though?
I mean, I don't think they ever made per se frivolous. I think that maybe it comes from the lack of planning behind what we're saying. So for example, if you plan to lose 50 pounds, right? Like, how you plan to lose these 50 pounds? What are you planning to do?
So you're saying there's plans that we don't actually put any action behind.
Yes. If you want to start a new business, what are the steps behind starting the business? And like, I saying this as much no as I saying it to myself, because me in particular, as I would have said at the beginning of this, I'm a go hard or go home, go big, you know. Everybody's always like, Lauren, it's okay to do smaller bites. I'm like, no.
Honestly, I try not to do the whole resolutions thing every year. I'll just say, okay, well, these are the plans that I had for the next year anyway, and I'm gonna try to stick to like what I was hoping to achieve by the end of the last year, going into the next year. So I try not to make any big like
grandiose I'm gonna do this,
especially where working out is concerned. Because I find for me, if I don't turn it into like an everyday habit, it's not going to happen.
But that's exactly it. Like, literally, that's it. Like, how do you turn, this is what I want to do, into an everyday habit? Because if it's not everyday habit, it ain't going to happen. Like, things don't just drop from the universe. And you know, I believe in the power of intentions and putting it into the universe. But you also have to make plans, and you also have to say, well, step one is, well, I'm going to change my diet. Maybe stop eating so much ice cream. Maybe sit down and take the time, and this is specifically for me, to meal prep. And, I follow Mahalia from the band Tumaho. She would have been one of our previous
They're
guests.
so good at that.
Do you see her on her socials?
Oh my god.
Do you see how she literally sits down and meal prep? And I'm always looking at her like, Mahalia.
That's how we know that we're getting old, because we be looking at Mahalia's fridge like, oh my god,
goals.
Fridge goals.
And it's like things like that. It's like seeing people actually doing it, because like, for all of those who don't follow Mahalia on Instagram, definitely go follow her. But when you follow her on Instagram, you can literally see her working towards her goals. Like, you don't even need to ask her what her goals are. She definitely has a fitness goal.
Yeah.
Because she is always doing, like, she's always in the gym. She's about that healthy lifestyle. She's literally about making herself a better person. And you can see that. You can see that in what she does every single day. And that it is for me. Like, how do you make plans? How do you sit down and write it down and break it down into the smallest part and decide, this is what I want to achieve for the year, and therefore this is what I want to achieve month by month and week by week, how I'm going to go about achieving this thing. Like, how do you actually break it down? And I think that's literally, for Lauren, something that she needs to do.
For me, I feel like it's having somebody to keep me accountable. So I think we've talked about it on a podcast before, about us running at 4:00. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but we used to get up every Sunday and we'll run at 4:30. And for me, it was my husband waking me up and making sure that we got out the house on time. But then it turned into a habit. So my body got used to it. But it's having somebody that's going to be there to remind me, you said you wanted to do this, and now we're going to leave the house.
Yep. But even when we used to do the Chloe thing, remember when we used to do the Chloe thing?
Yeah, but then we would all stop.
Yeah. I mean, the beginning of it was really good. And I mean, I think a little bit of our problem is that for Lauren is not a good person to keep anybody accountable in terms of exercise. Like, everything else may be not exercise. But even just hearing that you were doing the Chloe thing used to be that. I used to tell Russell, Jerry working out though. And every single time it didn't work. But like maybe it's 70% of the times because I heard that you worked out, or you sent me that video clip of you doing some workout. Even if I didn't do it right then, like the next morning we would get up and be like, okay, well, we going running, or okay, we doing this, or okay, we doing that. So
We
definitely definitely accountability as well as planning.
Yeah.
And writing down your plans, guys. If you don't have a journal or a diary or a planner, it's literally something that I've been saying I want to get.
Writing things down does nothing for me, not unless it's on my my dry erase board.
Your dry erase board.
Otherwise,
Because you need to see it.
yeah, it needs to be in front of me every single day. Otherwise, it's not gonna happen.
And I'm the opposite. Like if I write it down, it's gonna get done. If I don't write it down, so if we ever talk or we have a meeting and I don't send you a text about it, or I don't write it down, just know it ain't gonna happen. If you do not get a text about it, or you did not see me write it, physically write it down. Like for me, it doesn't have to be in front of me. I just have to have the act of physically writing it. Once I physically write it, it's gonna happen. But when I don't write it, maybe 50% of the times.
I wish. I have like 20 alarms on my phone currently. Each one of them is for something different.
Getting up.
And I'll look at the alarm when they go off, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do that thing on this day. Okay. And it doesn't happen.
For me, even getting up at a certain time makes a difference. Which means, and y'all are slowly but surely learning things about Lauren. Lauren
not a
needs
morning person.
9 hours of sleep. You know how they say it's a teenager thing? I'm no longer a teenager, but I still need 9 hours of sleep. So if I go to bed at 12 o'clock, just count 9 hours. All right, and if I wake up before that, I'm just miserable.
Yeah,
know?
there are definitely days when I call you and I'm like, you are in bed still?
I mean, this time, even, listen, when the weekend come, and I don't want to get up and go to work, call me 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, hey, hello? Yes, why are you calling me? 10 o'clock in the morning.
Your morning voice is also very hilarious.
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah, I know. I'm not a morning person. But yeah, I definitely think that there is some value in taking the time to plan for the year. So when you set your goals, and please in your comments below, let us know what your goals are. We really want to know what your goals are. So comment and let us know what your goals are, and we'll
what are your New Year's resolutions?
what are they? And how are you gonna get them done? Like, what's your plan? Like, and I mean, to be honest, if you don't have the time to sit down and write step by step the plan for us on YouTube for whatever reason you don't want to comment the plan, that's okay. But still, as you say the goal and you write it in our comments, then go back in your personal diary in whatever space you want to do it and make the plan of how you're going to get there. And
Wait. We forgot a big one.
What's the big one?
We forgot our travel plans.
Oh, girl, how did we forget that?
Is that more of like a vision board thing, or was that one of our New Year's resolutions?
I think, and this is what I'm saying about planning, right? Because I don't think it necessarily needs to be a vision board. I think we need to decide what we want to do. Literally the conversation we were having with our producer is how do we actually make the things come to reality. So if we want to travel, we need to just plan out the travel. We need to work it all the way back up. You know, how much it's going to cost, how much can we save to travel, how much is the transport going to cost, how much is the accommodation going to cost. So I don't necessarily think it's a vision board thing. I think what we need to do, and we will do it too, guys, so it's not just us telling you to do it, we can do it. What we need to do is, I think we just need to write it down and go through it and figure out how much the whole thing will cost, and then break it all the way and go all the way back up and decide how we traveling. Because when I tell you, girl, we traveling. I'm
excited for that.
We traveling, putting it out into the universe. But I'm also going to write the plan. We're going to make the plans of how we're going to get there. But definitely, I think if we could all take one thing out of all of this, is if we could plan. And when you plan to, like, let it go. Like I always say, and I say this for Lauren now, it don't gotta work exactly how you thought it has to work. You know, like, we can't control the universe, we can't control COVID, we can't control the environment we're living in, we can't control the people around us. All we can do is the best we can do with what we have. And if we do the best we can do with what we have, if we make our plans, even if like step 3 is totally forward, we could be like, okay, well, we didn't get step 3 exactly how we want it, but maybe step 4 goes perfectly. Maybe you step, like, something wonderful happens and you skip from step 1 to step 4. Or maybe you spend 3 months at step 1 and you didn't plan to spend that long. It's all okay.
So just keep going.
Just keep going. Just keep pushing forward. And I think if there's one thing that I personally want to take from that this year and what I want to do moving forward is that make my plans and just keep stepping forward no matter what the world throws at us, because the world been throwing they've been throwing some doo-doos here.
It's been interesting, if nothing else. So, you wanted to talk about our current political climate. That's been burning your chest all evening.
How you know it been burning me? It been burning me, Jerri.
So, why has it been burning Lauren's soul?
And I hate to be the person to be like, this is where my these are my alliances. Because to be honest, I ain't getting nothing from nobody. I ain't getting no fridge. I ain't getting $1,500. I ain't getting no ham. I ain't getting nothing from nobody. But for me, at the end of the day, as a young person in Barbados, like, I definitely believe this is the space where I occupy right now. And I want the space where I occupy right now to be run by leaders who are like-minded. I don't want to be having conversations about inclusivity. Like, how is that even a conversation we're having in 2022?
It's ridiculous, yeah, that's still happening right now.
Exactly, like it baffles me that that's something we even need to talk about. Like, and how can I ever support anybody in the circle whose leader in the circle is not specifically pushing messages of equality and inclusivity and planning for the future. And it's not to say that any party is perfect. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I ain't saying that one party is perfect and the other party is down or nothing like that. What I'm saying is that the same way for the resolutions that we're making personally, we have to be thinking for the future. For Barbados, we have to be thinking for the future. So what future do you want as a young person to have created in Barbados?
Yeah, and raise your children in, because that's my concern as well.
And raise your children in. Is it a future where the political message that they're sending, and I'm not saying at all that they don't have good mandates, but when your political message is don't vote for somebody because they are inclusive and they want to change something to a term, let's not even, I don't want to go into detail about the terminology of God versus creator in our constitution, because to me that's another thing where we are just showing how exclusive we are. Because realistically, I understand that we are a, let's say, 60% majority Christian society, but we also have Muslims, and we also have Jews, and we also have Rastas. And by saying that you only want to use this one term, that we can't use the term creator, which we all, go from, who created the world, the creator. It's a synonym. But it's a synonym that allows everybody to feel like they're part of the society. And that's the Barbados we should be living in. We should be living in a Barbados where we can be treated equal, where regardless of our race, our religion, our creed, the color of our skin, we should be treated as individuals and not based on what we believe. Like, it's crazy that this is even a conversation that we gotta be having. Like, to me, we should be fighting things like climate change. Like, look what happened the other day with the freak storm. How is that not the thing that we are setting our stakes on? Who is going to make Barbados green by 2030?
Oh, gosh.
What is your plan for that? What's your plan to save the coral reefs? What's your plan to make sure that we are employed and we can do things that our foreparents could do? What's your plans to make sure that our generation can do things like buy houses and
buy houses? Let's start with being able to afford food.
Right? I mean, like, to me, the conversation that we've been having is are ridiculous. They're ridiculous conversations because we're not at that point in the world. We're not 40 years ago where, we don't want to be inclusive. There are all types of different people in the world, and we need to get over it. And we need to just accept everyone. Accept, regardless of who or what you claim to be, we just need to accept us, right? And we need to move on to the things that are actually going to change our lives. The things that actually don't care, like the hurricane season. Can you afford gas? Can we afford gas? Why are we so dependent on fossil fuels? How is it that we are in a country that the sun is be so hot, at least be walking down the road, you could get a heat stroke, but we are not all on solar power? Like, how is our electricity bill so high? What are we doing with our sewage and our waste system? What are we doing with our water? These are things that I feel like we should be talking about. Like,
listen, now that you've mentioned gas, I realized that we took for granted the fact that we lived in Warrens before.
Girl.
And now the gas bill is like, it's not what it used to be.
It's all I will say. It really isn't. And my thing is, right? And even for people who are catching the bus,
it's expensive.
Like everything now is expensive, and we're living in a world where, like, us young people, like the Barbados that the older generations grew up in, it's not the Barbados we live in now.
I think a lot of them haven't even realized that.
I 100% know they haven't. 100% know they haven't. It's not the same Barbados, so I used to be like, how are we having these conversations? Like, this isn't the thing we need to be talking about. so that's why it's be burning on my chest, because I used to be like, really? We were literally just talking about adulting and talking about health insurance.
Adulting is freaking expensive. Exactly. Every time someone asks us when we're gonna have children, I'm just like, do we live on the same island? Right? Because
who's gonna buy the Pampers? Like the VAT and the taxes on things, and like just life in Barbados is so expensive. And the people who have children who are doing it, shout out to you.
Is a freaking struggle.
MVPs.
Oh my god.
But how we're doing it, I am not sure. I really don't know. And don't get me wrong, I want to do it too, but I don't know like when we will be able to do it.
Yeah, I'd like to do it when we can afford it. Yeah. But
when is that gonna be?
I feel like every single time we say, it's gonna be in 5 years, and then we push it back even further. How far are we going to be able to push that?
To push it back. Well, IVF, and there are all these different fertility things that you can do. So
I want to be able to run around behind my kids.
That's the thing. Man, I want you to know at 100, I'm going to be running around behind my great-grandchildren.
I need to give you a joke off camera about my current aging situation. This is where I say cut this part. Okay, guys, so now that we've almost finished the bottle and Lauren has finished her rant, I think you got that out.
I think I did. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're just gonna remind you guys to please like, comment, and subscribe. A lot of you guys, including my sister, have told me that you've been watching, but I've not seen comments from you. So it would help us a lot if you would comment. And now this is Jerri.
And I'm Lauren.
And this has been 2 Drinks In. Thanks for joining us.
Like I was telling Amory, I really want to do bloopers, and I really want to do...
No, the bloopers were too funny.
Nah, we need to do bloopers. But like for stories or something that people can't see.
Did Lauren see the full blooper reel?
Did she watch the episode she watched?
Okay.
No,
I didn't watch the last episode. That's not true. That's not true. Not you being shady in your tone, sir.
Isn't he always?
A little bit, I hope that my children don't inherit that
you
shit.
Married that.
I can just be like
he was always like that from day one I met Amory. You see this Santa Carolina? Not only is the label pretty,
Very. Both of them.
Right. So this is the brute, but there's also a demi-sec. They're both amazing. So if you haven't tried it,
Yeah, definitely top of our list for wedding season.
exactly, I can buy a case because, as I said, y'all, you know who's getting married this year? Put it out in the universe. I realize y'all can't hear anything that I just said, but I said, you know who's getting married this year, and we're putting that out in the universe. Okay, that's
Russell
it.
watches this episode. I'm gonna send him that clip.
I love you.
Listen, when you get this ring, it's gonna be all over.
I'm like, y'all not ready for me, you know? Y'all not ready for the pictures?
Behind you, just be
This finger gonna be like